played in the Team Liquid Map Contest tournament, which is this tournament right here. And after the tournament, there's an iteration phase, so map makers can make edits to their maps, and then there's a voting phase where the finalists get voted on, and we find ourselves a winner. So that's the plan, that's how it all works, and then these maps then get considered for ladder usage in future seasons of the ladder map pool. So probably expect to see a good few of these coming through. I mean, the current map pool sees a lot of these a lot of past TLMC maps in it itself. I mean, in fact, I think pretty much every map currently in the current map pool is a map which is from the previous seasons of TLMC. Is Kairos Junction, Cyber Forest, New Repugnancy, Port Alexander, Autobaton, King's Cove, Neo Zero were all part of our last Team Liquid map contest. So the entire current map pool was made up of maps from the last map contest, and I would expect to see maps from this map contest make it into a future map pool as well. Very excited that we can get the best players in the world playing on these as well. As we get this setting up, gateway dropping down at the front here from Zest as we do get started. Probe coming over and just going to be seeing the hatch, gas, and pool coming up from Rogue. So getting that underway as the extractor about to finish up here. And we are going to be seeing a couple more drones just going to pop out and jump into this extractor in a moment or so. The early game of this first game of the best of 9 getting set up here. Next is dropping down in the natural expansion. And they get a lot of money on the line here. These guys have guaranteed themselves $600 by making it to the finals. And of course, if you win the finals, you get $1,200. So you double up your prize money. This is a $600 difference between a win and a loss in this series. Will it be Rogue to take it down, or will it be Zest? It's time for us to find out. We've yet to have a Team Liquid Map Contest tournament winner that's a Protoss from the map contests I've held. The few that I've held, Sue won the first one. Then the second one, Innovation won. Then Euthermal won the last one. Now it's either going to be Zest or Rogue. As we do, again, get this started up. Stargate on the way down from Zest in the main base. The natural expansion going to be finished up here in just a few moments. And we are truly underway with the initial build orders, with the third hatch coming in off to the right-hand side here on Operation Lockdown. Currently the least played map in the tournament before this series. So let's have a quick look around it. It has got this very interesting center sort of circular motion. We've got the idea of a whole bunch of bases around in the center around here as well. It's very kind of... You're going to do a lot of rotating on this map and kind of positioning to try and outposition people and to try and find an opening and stuff like that. So do you see the probe pushing on forward? Stalker starting to deal a little bit of damage. Overlord... Going to get up to the high ground, and again, just going to see the Adept from Zest pulling away from the base over here. Link speed going to complete in a moment or two from Rogue. And again, just a Stalker patrolling around over on the side. Oracle coming over, and just going to be seeing that Overlord getting pushed away. So Overlord getting pushed back over the left-hand side right now. Twilight Council coming on in. Now, obviously, we've been able to see a lot of Zest play, and we know quite regularly now kind of how he likes to follow up the Robo, the Twilight, after a Stargate, and if not after the Stargate, it's usually before a Stargate. We've seen some cool different builds, though, like open up into the Charge drop rather than like an Archon drop, for example. As you do see that Stalker able to pick off the Overlord up on the top side. So he's wanting to run forwards here as the Stalker gets surrounded by the Lings, and actually, this time the Oracle not able to save it. Too many Lings. Oracle not quite there right away. Even the Adept helping out wasn't enough. So the Ling is able to pick up the Stalker kill, punishing it for going out and killing that Overlord. There's 3 extra gateways start up. The Warp Prism is already about halfway done, and the Temple Archives getting started here as well. So Temple Archives getting started up. And we are going to be seeing a single Zerglin tent sitting out on the left. Another Ling sitting out over to the right. Just a couple of Queens coming over, going to drop down a Creep Tumor here, start pressing that out onto the map with more Creep, also pushing up the left-hand side of the map as well. So, Creep all over the place at the moment. This Warp Prism heading back down to the bottom left side, wants to see what is going on right now. Temple Archives about to complete from Zest, another gateway finishing. So it's, again, everything you expect it to be. The Oracle does need to be here, though, because right now Ling's underneath the Prism. will be able to stop the High Templar from warping in. So I guess the Oracle uses that to defend. And now the Oracle should head back home to the third base, because obviously you need something to help defend that third in case of a circling run by or something along those lines. Well, the Archon's going to lift up into the Prism and head straight to the main base. Rogue going into Roaches, but also investing into an Evolution Chamber, so looking to set up into the opportunity for upgrades. We see two Archons dropping down and press forwards. A couple of drones already picked off here. Nice lift off, and we are going to be seeing the couple of Archons pulling away. Hydra's Den dropping down from Rogue. So we are going to see a bit more of a macro-focused ZvP, dare I say it. I mean, he's at least on 60 drones. More drones than I think we saw at the entirety of Sue versus Zest. So definitely a bit more macro-focused here as we get started up in game number 1. Here on Operation Lockdown. 4 extra gateways dropping in the main. I'm just going to be seeing again the Immortal, the Zealot, hanging out over on the left side, a few sentries gathering up as well. Just going to see the Adept's able to pick up a kill. 11 Hydras still on the way out, so just building up into this here. Is Oni still on like the 60, now 58 drones? This might still get aggressive, but is he going to have that +1 in play? Is going to give Zest more time to prepare because there's a few extra drones. It's waiting for extra upgrades. Roaches just hanging out underneath in the Prism. Flying around a little bit. Is Zest going to get aggressive? He has a few sentries mixed into this, a couple of Immortals. And Zealots as well as he comes down to the bottom right-hand side. This army pushing the bottom right. A couple of Archons here. Obviously, this looks like a pretty scary attack. I mean, this is going to be 3 Archons, 2 Immortals at 7.5 minutes, pushing your third base. Now, Rogue's about to have +1 missiles in about 10 seconds. If you can hold off until then, that would be amazing. Spore in the front scares the Prism from being too far forward. The Immortals will get rid of that pretty quickly, so goodbye Spore Crawler. Here we go, a few force fields available. Warily drop them down to the bottom side where the Zealots run in, making sure those units can't pull away from the Zealots. First Archon going down, extra Zealots going to warp in now as well. Good micro backwards on the high-tech units, which are very important to keep alive. The extra Zealots running into this as well, as Chorus of Battle still dropping. Doesn't seem to be enough so far as these units are going to swarm in. Rogue is just going to crush it just like... So weird to press the Control Shift 9 to set the best of 9 on the scoreboard. Like, how often do we cast best of 9s? I actually cast a best of 9 for YouTube a couple of weeks ago, I suppose. That was a really sick one as well. Innovation C. If you guys didn't see that, definitely check it out. YouTube.com/WardiTV. There's Hitch KG Chicken Man with the 13-month love. Says lucky number 13. Well, maybe for you, not for most. Thank you so much for the 13 months, Chicken Man. Appreciate it. As we have to the bottom right-hand side, our blue Zerg player. This is Rogue. Top left-hand side, our pink Protoss. Give it up. You're cheering on Zest. So, second game of the best of 9, setting up here with an Overlord already headed in towards the upper left corner. Gonna go and have a little bit of a scout around there in the next few moments. So, early game movement of units. Well, we kind of know what's happening, right? It's not a surprise, it's not a shock. I'm not gonna hype it up. It's just what happens here, and it's what we expect to have happening. So, no surprises so far. As that next is going to be placed down on the natural expansion. You can see the Cybercore coming in at the front as well. And we are going to be seeing the drones on the way up and getting set to go. Man, I actually don't know when the last time I casted this many this many games of a certain matchup was. You know? Got some predictions in the chat. I like this. Trangar says Rogue's going to humiliate Zest 5-0. Gottingen999 says think Rogue going to take it 5-4 against Zest. And Chaos37 says my guess Rogue is 5-3. He beat Stats the other day in the finals. What did he beat Stats in? What did he play Stats in? I didn't see that. Can't get over how much I like the look of this map, says Mellow Yellow. This one's pretty cool. I don't know, I don't like grassy maps as much as others, but I think it's nice, and I really like the water on this map. It's really sick, and the way it runs through the center and stuff. Yunko saying 5-4 for Zest. Sweet C on the other side of things, 5-2 for Rogue. Shoes 94, the exact opposite, 5-2 Zest. And D-Light thinks Zest is going to take the next 5 maps in a row, 5-1. Choco Mula says Zest 5-0. Now, Choco, I'm going to let you repick your guess, because I'm just thinking that it's very unlikely Zest is going to go 5-0 here right now. The Africa TV Invitational. Those are cool matches as well. Rogue, that's pretty cool result. Actually, I didn't get to see that series. Might have to catch up on that. It's pretty sick finals. Dark Shrine dropping down here, though, from Zest. So he's back in towards his DTs as the opening. No Stargate this time around. So again, they're set up to go. Going to see the few drones on the way out from Rogue. Spore Crawler about halfway done at the moment. Queen popping out on the natural expansion as well. Just getting this set up to go. So a couple of lings just outside the front, and just going to be seeing the Adept hanging out in the wall-off. Stalker dealing some damage to the Overlords. Overlord taking quite a lot of hits right here. Scouts through the main base. Dark Shrine going to be seen, so good information gained as the Overlord giving itself up and will go down. The Warp Prism onto the map then, getting ready to warp those DTs. Already Spore Crawlers on the way up. Rogue will not be as unprepared as Sue was in that final game of the series against Zest that we saw just about 30 minutes ago. So Rogue going to be a little bit better prepared for this right now. Ready to fight on. Subhard Revenge, thank you so much for another $2.50 here today. Says, what do you call a cow with no legs? A no-leg cow? I don't know. I kind of feel like this is going to be a bad joke again. First Archon starts to morph in. Thank you so much for the $2.50. Going to see the couple of DTs swiping away. Archon is about halfway done, so the next one about to finish up, and then you can really start harassing. There's actually not going to be roaches here for a little bit, as Rogue very ling heavy so far. It's still waiting for that roach run, so for now the ling's going to be dancing around and just going to be having the Immortal being chrono boosted out at the moment here from Zest. So a couple of Archons continue to move around. Oh, apparently you call a cow with no legs ground beef. Wow. That's actually... These jokes always get me to like that sort of like guilty laugh. And that's about it, you know. Alright. Archons picking up some creep teams. We've had a little discussion about this before, and you know, if you can't get any damage, the next best thing is to pick away at the creep spread, obviously. Take away some of the map control from the Zerg. This is a very undefended third base, so those lings go running over. 4 extra gateways coming down, so this third base isn't really kind of wanted anyways by Zest. I don't think he actually intends on keeping this alive too much, or to really mine from it at least. We try and keep it alive. He has the shield battery that's done a good job healing it up for a little while. Some units coming in a little bit late. The force field will keep it up, and the things will actually get blocked off. Another great force field, actually. Lots of Zerglings going down with those 2 force fields, so that's nicely done. Zealot warps in to block the entrance to the natural expansion as well. And well, Zest actually continues to build probes, so despite the fact he's on 46 and was looking to attack, I feel, he's now going to build up the work account a little bit further. Just going to see the Archons coming in, but just having to back away. Roach is in position. We're going to find instantly a Crypt Tumor at the front there. 8 more Roaches on the way up, and the +1 missile attack still on the way out as well. 4 DT is coming into play from Zest. A few Zealots, a Sentry as well. There's a couple of Archons just going to start morphing. Up on the top side, Zealot's going to get rid of those couple of Lings at least, so Well, Zest 52 probes as he gets ready for this attack, a little bit more than before. And Rogue, 66 drones with a lot of Roach Ravager. Way away from his +1 missile attack. He's going to try and come in. Bit of a tough spot though. This third base being engaged right into, as we see the Immortals and Archons fighting pretty quickly onto a lot of those Roaches. Another Roach going down. To the bottom side of Zealot having a little bit of a swipe around as well. Zealot's warping in as Zest trying to break through this to tie this series 1-1. Spine taking a few more shots here. Slimes continue to pick away. That Archon on the top side getting low. Still not down just yet though. Another transfuse coming into play, and it looks like there's going to be a bit too much here from Zest as he warps in extra Zealots, but it's not over yet. Drones though pulling through. That's never a good sign. They're going to stack up on the mineral line, on the extractor, sorry. And so he is going to get a lot of those drones with those Archons. So he's putting up Rogue under a very, very tough position in terms of economy. But I think he's going to do it in terms of the army as well. These Roaches and Ravagers can't trade well enough against the Immortals and Archons. Although they pick off two with 2 sets of volleys. No micro on the Prism there for a moment. Now Zest still comes out ahead in Workers though, and that just means the follow-up here from him will be so good. Oh my god, Zest is only just on a charge. Did he just not have charge for this? That's a bit of a mistake. So Zest, slight blunder right there. Fortune Temple Archives coming in then. And we are going to be seeing, well, Zest will be happy he started with a few extra probes because he doesn't end the game with his attack. Now, Rogue's going to counter, but he is building drones behind it. So trying to reset an economy while hoping to get some damage done. The 2 Immortals here from Zest are still nearby, so fortunately they can come back home to help with the defense. Another Archon morphing in. He's about to have Zealot charged, and he's actually got a ton of minerals, so Zealots will be able to warp in here to help with this. Roaches and the Ravagers see what's up and probably realize that this is not a position to push in. We've seen those units of Rogue pulling all the way back down to the bottom right hand side. Infestation Pit on the way up. Rogue always, when he falls behind a little bit, he loves to go Infestation Pit and loves to try and get those Swarm Hosts up to fight the way back, find a way back into the game. Zest is probably not going to give him the chance though. Pushing down the left hand side, ready to attack straight into the 3 bases here. Yeah, does not want Rogue to set up at all. As you see a couple of Corrosive Bars will drop. Good force goes across the front initially. The Immortals picking their way through those Roaches. And now we do just have Rogue messing around at the front. A couple of extra Ravagers morphing in. Again, Rogue holds the position for a while. Zest will probably knock down these rocks before attacking up here. Maybe not. Rogue actually comes pretty far forwards, pretty aggressively. An Archon and 2 Zealots in the War Prism go across the upper right, and Zest is going to start backing away. So Zest is going to back way up through the center, gets another Overlord kill. These extra Zerglings running in, just getting minced pretty much instantly here. Well, Force Fields and turning around to fight this. No War Prism nearby, so can't save any of these units if they get in trouble. And that does cause, create some cause for concern. The War Prism on his way back over as well. Obviously no Warpins to reinforce this either. You can't really justify the Prism Warpin in right now because the Corrosive Bars would have knocked it down right away. So that's just ends up backing away. Does have, well, he did have money in the... He warped in some Zealots and High Templars here back at home. He's about to have Storm, Blink, and +2, so he's taking precautions across the board. Blink and +2. I mean, +2 just generally very good. Blink going to be good against Mutas. The Storm also just generically very good as well in terms of if a game continues going by. It's a good one to get up to help you out and to make progress in the right sort of direction. Another couple of Stalkers warping in as we see this army of Zest pressing in towards this hatchery. A few more Corrosive Bars dropping down. The army having to pull away up to the top side. There's that hatchery getting picked off here, so still Rogue just allowed a 4th base. He has Swarm Hosts now. Is that enough to fight this? I mean, there's so many High Templar with Storms, there's Archons for Splash. There isn't that many Swarm Hosts, and that's, I guess, sort of the issue, right? Just here we go. Roaches and Ravagers pressing forwards, Corrosive Bars dropping down. Locusts coming straight into this here. The first Storm will drop from Zest, now another couple. And I just feel like those Locusts go down so quickly, and then Zest is right on top of the Roach Ravager. So he's going to push straight on into this, although he did lose all of his Immortals, so he loses a lot of what kind of usually chunks down those Roaches. He loses those 2 Archons at the front, so he doesn't actually have much left in terms of high tech units. Zest will warp in another round as well to try and win this out, as again, Rogue going to keep on holding on his 3rd base. Swarm Hosts are going to be off cooldown very shortly. And I actually don't think Zest can deal with another round of Swarm Hosts here. It's going to be another dead Archon, so the splash damage is dropping away very quickly. Locusts jump up, will start to drop down on the first few Zealots in the front. I mean, this War Prism is still committed to warping in. Corrosive Vials not going towards it. Hasn't found the chance to shut that down just yet, as again, with the Locusts in play, they do a great job in terms of being able to fight a little bit better and a little bit longer. However, at the end of the day, it's just a few Stalkers left. It looks like the Roach Ravagers will probably be able to clean it up. At the end of the day, I was going to say, it's kind of tough for the Swarm Host to always be kind of pumping out, you know, to kind of survive and for the Roach Ravagers to actually clean up this when the Swarm Hosts are on cooldown. It works out for the moment as these Stalkers blinking around. Zest trying to buy time against the counterattack because if he sets up a full phase, he does not have a lot of army supply left. He has High Templars that do not have Storms yet because they're 15 energy away. That's obviously concerning. This War Prism getting pushed back, lost one of the Stalkers. And the Swarmers are here as well as a few Roaches already jumped on top of the High Templar, realizing the opportunity that sits in front of him. Surprised the Locusts has come up so far away. I mean, I guess it'll help you to deny this full phase, but that's going to be about it. There's a few more Corrosive Vials trying to grab the War Prism. A couple did connect. So full phase will fall. There's Rogue even bringing the Queens across the map right now as well, and I feel like this attack should be successful. The War Prism falls as well. The Queen's getting a good snipe. Rogue going to back away after killing off that fourth base. So Rogue going to take a moment or two just to recuperate now. Some more Ravagers morphing in at the moment. Extra Swarm Hosts. Also about to complete Zealots. Down from the top side into the middle of the map as well. So all of this getting set to go. Let's see. Zest is half the army supply of his opponent. He does have Storm. That's obviously a big helping hand. He does have a lot of High Templar for those Storms as well. You see the Ravagers now breaking through on the right-hand side. Obviously, the Swarm Hosts are ready to activate that Locust, so they can definitely snipe down a base if they get far enough forwards. Swarm Hosts falling up in the distance. You're going to see those Zealots charging in to pick up a few of the Zerglings. Roaches pressing forwards as well. It's not a large enough counter-attack, as I think Rogue is a little bit concerned with the army of Zest. So keeping his units back at home means the Swarm Hosts haven't activated themselves in a little while now. This game, too, could really go either way at the moment. I mean, he was kind of feeling Rogue, but now Zest has a lot more in play. He's going to find the fourth base top right as well. The Swarm Hosts aren't going to be very useful to pull back into that position. And Templar's starting to storm, although I should just kind of run away from these Swarm Hosts. Keeping track, another Storm. Definitely not worth one more Storm because it's just not enough there, right? And so units over here, I mean, the Roaches and Ravagers pull back to deal with it, but all of the Roaches and Ravagers do. And finally, Rogue splits some back down to the bottom to deal with the push on towards the third base. Now the third base is going to go down. It's just not enough Roach Ravager. A lot of this army supply of Rogue is completely reliant on Swarm Hosts. With those Swarm Hosts on cooldown, that's a big issue. Now Zealots continue to charge in. This base continues to drop on the right. This base on the bottom is in trouble. Locust will drop on the top side, so Rogue looking for counter-attack damage more so than anything else. The War Prism warps in a few extra Zealots, just slowly starting to accidentally come into the fight here, as that right side base will drop down. And Rogue just does not seem to have enough left to truly fight. But the Locusts on the top right-hand side have picked off a Nexus at least, and a couple of probes. So the fourth base from Zest denied again at the 16-minute marker. It's free base against free base, and in terms of an overall fight, I just don't see Rogue taking it. Oh my god, 6 more Archons morphing as well, as Zest spends a huge chunk of his bank account. Okay, well. So we see the couple of Corrosive Vials dropping down. Morphing Ravager in the front, and we are just going to be seeing these Archons still pressing all the way in. A nice high storm on the Locust. And those very low Zealots have ran all the way into the main base in the meantime. And this is just going to keep picking Rogue apart. And again, those Locusts now cool down for another 30 seconds or so. These are they're not going to come back into the game to help you out. And already targeting down the Macro Hatchery. I'm sure the Hive will be next. And this forward third base taken down as well. Swarm was backing themselves away into a corner, trying to buy as much time as possible to get into another wave of Locusts here. Zest seemingly does have enough to shut this one out. Wow. I mean, Zest looked good with the earlier fight, right? But Rogue did a good job holding on for a little while. It definitely looked as though Zest was going to have trouble dealing with the counter-attack, but he did a lot of very good things to buy himself time to the point where Rogue couldn't justify a counterattack anymore. Very nicely done, as you can see in the Locust, the Roaches, the Ravagers coming up through the center. Pressing forwards right away, a couple Corrosive Valves dropping down. We're going to be missing the army there though. Locust pressing in, but again, a waste of a Locust cooldown. Now they're back on cooldown, they haven't traded out, they haven't slowed the Protoss army down at all. I think this is where Rogue dies, with the Sorcerer's blink on in, the Swarmlord's taking damage. The Archons and the Mauls are not afraid to get up close and personal either. That Ravager coming in the back will go down too, and I mean, you can try and hold this ramp here perhaps. The Stalkers will keep blinking in though. Zest is hungry to finish this one off, and he goes straight up here. I'm just going to be seeing this army continue to press forward. Extra Zealots warping in, those Queens on the high ground will not do enough to change things, and Zest will tie things as we enter Rest Calm for map number 3. To the top left hand side, our pink Protoss player, this is Zest. Up against the blue Zerg in the bottom right hand side. From Generic Green Wings, we have got Rogue. Game 3 of the best of 9 series, getting this set up to go. The probe just going to come scouting around here in the early stages. What was the song during the break? It was Masters of the Flattery by Suns. Using one of the Twitch suggested playlists today. Actually been pretty surprisingly decent. I'm enjoying it. Max is dropping down on the natural expansion, and we are just going to be seeing the hatch, the gas, the pool, all of these regular little things on the way up here. As we see the drone of Rogue going to be heading out towards the left-hand side. So already a third hatchery coming in here as Rogue gets this set to go. Fun games then. I mean, obviously, that last game was a bit crazy, an 18-minute game. It's the longest game we've had in a little while, actually. We didn't have any longer games between Rogue and Hero either, honestly. So, although there was some, it's been a mixture of things, I guess. But yeah, that was one of the longer games we've had in a little while, and Zest just able to close it out in the end, as the Swarm Host didn't quite work out. Do you see the Twilight Council on the way down here from Zest? So, yeah, the Twilight Council started up, getting that ready to go. Waiting to see what's going to happen. A few Zerglings on the way out. Wing speed on the way up. And, yeah, just Twilight Council first. So, again, perhaps looking towards those DTs as the opening here. 3 different options. Again, in this now best of 9, and even longer series than the best of 7, I do wonder, does that Zest at some point throw in a Resonating Glaives build? Because it is the other kind of common opener that he's not yet used. With the Robo, that will not be it. But it is the other common opener that he could use just to change things up a little bit further. Let's see if he does start up the Dark Shrine. Again, that charge drop is something that Zest has been doing as well, and there it is. The charge going to be the commitment here. So going into the charge to start things up. Stalker just hanging out a little bit below that Overlord, which is chilling on the high ground. He's like, what's up, dudes? Staying alive. Yeah, staying alive at the moment, as we do see the Adept shading back up in towards the natural. We're just going to see this probe coming forward to place the pylon, completing the Warlock. So Overlord just going to hang out over to the side. We do see the few Zerglings were pressing forwards towards the front, and had a little bit of just a look to see what's going on. Like, hello, and then it's like, okay, we're not going to go up there. This Overlord is wandering in towards the main base, so Overlord's just going to wander in towards the main. We're going to be seeing that War Prism is finishing up in a moment or two. As that War Prism finishes, we're going to be seeing another one being built, so it's going to be charged locked with the Dark Shrine. This Overlord scout from Rogue, though, tells him exactly what's going on. With the double Prism, you'll have aggression in a couple different locations. It's very nice with the charge, because if you can get a Prism into the main and then back it up with a few Zealots, it really takes a much more commitment to deal with it than it does, you know, otherwise. And then the Prism on the other side, on the third base perhaps, will have a little bit more success in what it can get done. First 4 Zealots are over here. And the DTs, no, not going to be DTs yet, going to be more Zealots. The DT shrine wasn't finished. So just Zealots kind of charging forwards. Now the Rogue Thrower isn't ready just yet, as these Zealots are going to get surrounded by Zerglings though. Prism's going to struggle to get in range here to save any of these, just because of the fact that the Sport Crawler and so many Queens still lifting some up and repositioning them. And I mean, there you go, the War Prism goes down. It's a very risky maneuver to try and bring it forwards there. Resources lost is a little bit Rogue favored. If he just lost the Zealots, it would have been even. But losing the War Prism as well, that's a shame. Now the other War Prism over in the main base of the Zerg has just warped in, moving forwards here, and then we'll lift up those DTs, dropping them down, a little bit of micro, trying to maximize damage dealt so far. So let's try and max out what can be done. Let's see a couple different lines of group spread heading up towards the upper left side of the map. A couple of Archons on the way up, going to be finishing shortly. And the Forge just going to be finishing up on the natural expansion as well. Things poking their way through the Adept, and the pylon will come down. Adept gets killed off here as we see a couple of Archons in the main base. And just picking their way through some of those Roaches, so Roaches taking some hits, and just these Zealots charging in for other Queen kills, etc. This aggression has just continued up from Zest, and you know, it's definitely causing some chaos in Rogue's space, but Rogue still is on 51 drones to 45. He still has a good army supply. He will keep building drones as well, so not going to commit to anything yet. Zest takes this base over here. Zest continues to take bases in these maps, which completely surprises me. That's crazy. I mean, we're going to see these couple of units going down. The third nexus on this left side, it's so far away from this natural, this base over here. I just don't understand why Zest wouldn't take the high ground third. I mean, pretty much everyone else is taking the high ground third. Interesting. Thanks so much, Voltigas, for the 18-month sub on tier 2 as well. It says, my sub can drink now. You're buying the first round, right? That's your job, dude. I've been buying you all those drinks while you've been underage, right? Like, so clearly it's your turn to buy the drinks. Roaches pressing in towards the third base, and Zest still a bit back and forth trying to defend this here. The War Prism comes back home. This isn't too many Roaches, though. It's not a fully committed attack here by Rogue. I mean, he's up on 61 drones now, switching in towards Hydralisk production. Now Zest gets those extra gates up, and I get the feeling we're going to see an aggressive push forwards from Zest here in the next few moments, like we saw him do on Operation Lockdown, like he's been doing in a lot of the games here so far today. So a couple of those Archons going to be finishing momentarily, and again, I mean, feels like it is getting to the point where players want to push across, where Zest wants to push across the map. He still has two Archons over here. Just going to be picking away at a couple of drones. So actually 2 drones getting picked off already. Archons getting lifted up. A little bit of army in the center of the map as well, as the Archons picking up another couple of Zerglings running forwards. Extra Zealots from Zest. Well, 2 Zealots and 2 DTs. Warping in. And going to start pressing forwards. Another Archon going to get added into this here, as we do see a couple of pictures being cleaned out. So Zest is on the front of the attack. He's getting 2 more gates, so he's really going for this now. However, it's a very open area. He sends a few force fields down to protect initially. War Prism is still over in the Zerg natural and main base, causing some chaos, but the problem with that is it's not going to be over here to help out. He's going to warp in high sentry, so he can force field the ramp. Okay. Force field the ramp then, and the Archons will obviously be able to trade for a little bit longer. But then, of course, with Corrosive Valves coming down, these force fields keep missing as well. However, it's a big distraction for the army to go up the left side, but that army is very committed right here. The Archon's going to start dropping in a moment or two. The Warp Prism super low is setting up as though it wants to warp in again. Good force fields on this on this left-hand side. As now we're going to be seeing Zest is still fighting. That Spinecaller poking away though. 7 drones killed. It just feels like Zest's army is going to begin bleeding out in the next few moments. Final Zealot over here goes down, and now Rogue is going to just keep on pressing forwards. And there's just no War Prism to micro these units. There's no chance of a force field wall off while he recalls back home. And Zest is going to get chased all the way away, and that's going to be Zest completely shut down here in this third game now. So that's going to be closed on off, as we do have Oh, a couple of Immortals taking a couple of shots. Extra Zealot's going to be warping in. Still pressing through as well. There's a couple of Roaches going down too. Just going to see the Ravagers still getting picked away at on the right hand side. The Zealot will pick up another Roach or two. Some of the Zerg ones getting picked off. More Zealots warping in over here, but it feels like Rogue should have the momentum to press through. However, Zest has a +1 attack upgrade advantage, and I mean, Zest's army supply isn't too crazy. The Zealots over here get a bit of a kill and then recall away. No 4th base from Rogue either, as he's committed to kind of killing Zest with what he's got right now. So here we go. He's committed to this setup. You see a couple of Chinchins getting picked off. Ravagers, Hydras, and Roaches of Rogue pressing forwards right here. First Power 2 coming down. Good charge forwards as Roaches and Ravagers getting picked away at. +1 missile attack coming in from Rogue as well. And the 4th hatchery coming in on the far right-hand side. And +1 missiles just coming through so far. We have this army of Zest heading down to the bottom side of the map. Just going to press straight on down here. As that +2 attack upgrade is about to finish. So +2 attack about to finish up. So Zest has a bit of an upgrade advantage to go into this attack with, and well, I mean, he's going to be +2 against 0-0. We've seen this situation so many times today. Rogue is trying to transition behind it though. He's going to try and throw down the Lurker Den, but the Lurker Den takes 86 seconds to build. It's a huge amount of time as Protofiles keep on dropping. Zealots momentarily there charging forwards, but then backing away. This Hydras too. Trying to fight this. A couple of Protofiles going to break through those force fields. Another set of force fields coming down. All of these units getting picked away at. So little left here from Rogue, it feels like. And he's still desperately trying to hang on towards the Lurker Den. Even then, when the Lurker Den finishes, a 20-second morph into the Hydras into a Lurker. And then how many Hydras does he have? He's not going to be able to afford that many Lurkers. Good control on the War Prism on the top side here, and we are going to be seeing this army of Rogue is still being just picked apart little by little. The Immortal shots starting to add up, although he does still want Immortal now. A few Zealots run up to the high ground. Will they stay up there? A couple will. Everyone's back down to the low ground to keep pushing the army. Rogue's supply is dropping, and it looks like Zest will take the lead of this finals for the first time, going up 2-1 after a victory on Rest. As we have got to the bottom right-hand side of the map, our player who is down now, 1 map to 2. Our red Zerg is Rogue. Up against the pink Protoss on the upper left, it's Zest. And currently, he is trying to show us that he is the best. He is absolutely playing some great PvZ today. Really, compared to how we saw him play against Impact the other day and how we saw him play against True yesterday, I really feel like this is a different version of Zest who's just playing some like incredibly good StarCraft 2. It's really awesome to have him here, and especially when he's playing like this, it is so much fun to be able to watch. So Zest is up 2-1 against Rogue. Again, here on Disco Bloodbath, we do have this dance floor area, which still no one has danced on. I am not going to lie, I am disappointed. I really thought somebody would have done it by now. I really believed, I really did. Unfortunately, not the case, as the hallucination is going to be the only thing dancing there, as the probe comes across and has a little bit of a scout around. I like Disco Bloodbath. I think the map's given us some cool games. It's one of my preferred maps. I'd say it's in my top half of the ranking in terms of the maps here. If you guys are interested in my ranking of the maps, I would. I am going to be doing one on the finalists thread in terms of what I think of the maps after watching a whole week of them being played out and so on. So that comes up. That comes up in just a couple of days when I have a little bit of free time. We'll write those up. When we get finished today, I have to go and sort the YouTube out because I didn't realize, but a bunch of my uploads have finished being queued up, and I have to go and get it all sorted and get it fixed, and yeah. Lots of stuff to be done. Lots to be done. It's, yeah, busy days. Casting tomorrow. So kind of a weird week or two after this, though, because we are at that sort of point where we're just at that sort of point where we're kind of at the end of like being free from big events and so on, and now we're gonna have I Am Katowice coming up, and obviously the lead up Katowice is a bit weird for us as well in terms of being able to convince players to come play in our events. So the next couple of weeks will be a bit weird, but we'll get through it. We'll have some good times with it, I am sure. As we do just see this Overlord heading across through to the upper left-hand side of the map. So Overlord heading across towards the upper left-hand side. And we'll look to see what's going on. Robo facility starting to build up as Zest already has the Twilight Council down, but Rogue going to play super aggressive. The Bane Nest coming in, and it is going to be a Ling Bane all in from Rogue. So Ling Bane all in from Rogue, as we do see this Adept starting to head up towards the upper left-hand side. I mean, the Adept didn't really see much here just yet. The thing is, if Zest skips the... he's got a pylon in the wall as well, so this is very weak for him. By skipping the Stargate, he really opens himself up to attacks like this. However, if the Dark Shrine can come up and you can get DTs out, well, that would be good for him. However, 2 pylons in the wall, and this is going to be brutal. Now, he does have the Stalker in the front. He's just taking his gases and everything. I mean, this is going to be Rogue just continue to... let me set up in towards these Banes now. Zest sees the few Lings, but that's about it. No shield battery setup or anything. I don't think you can hold this. I mean, he's about to have 3 gates in the DTs, but I think by the time the DTs come into play, he's probably already taken too much damage here. And the Banes are going to open that pathway through into the natural expansion. The Lings will go and fight against those. A couple Banes up into the main. And Zest is going to type out a very quick GG. 5 of potentially 9 in this series. This is the halfway point. Who will be leading up after this as we have to the bottom right side our pink Protoss player. This is Zest. The top left, our Red Zerg Rogue from Jin Green Wings. It's just passing 1:15 a.m. over in Korea, so these guys are definitely up late and playing hard. So shout out to those guys who are still giving it their all here. I mean, it's pretty typical for our Korean events to last until like midnight, 1 a.m. sometimes. It's obviously going to go a bit beyond, but hey, it's a big tournament. They're already guaranteed prize money. I don't think they're going to be all too upset about it for the moment. I think they're going to be like, yeah, you know, this is okay. We can handle this, you know. I think they're kind of happy with the current way of things. As we do see some drones mining away. There's Probe coming up to the top, mining against the minerals a little bit as well. Just a little bit of action coming down here as we do see drones mining on that gas, and we're just getting set up into this. So getting set up, ready to roll. Natural hatchery, third hatchery, all coming up. And of course we've got these inhibitor zones back in play here on Myeongyong CJ. As we get this going. This is peak gamer play an hour. No, it is true as well. Like, these guys usually play through the night a lot of the time and stuff like that. So it's it's not kind of unheard of. Like the Koreans a lot of times do play at this sort of time. It's not too ridiculous. I mean, Base Trade ran a tournament recently, the Ting Open, and the playoffs for that actually started at like midnight Korea, and it was like, you know, there was Korean players in it, and there was Korean players all the way through to the finals. They were playing until pretty late in that too. I mean, it's one of these things that we always try to avoid it happening as much as possible, but sometimes we just need to run a longer day of StarCraft, and I mean, if a day is planned to last 6 hours, it's going to go into Korean nighttime, right? Just going to be seeing the Adept coming in towards the upper left side, having a little bit of a poke around, see what's happening. I'm just trying to pick up some information here early as we do see this hatchery building up a queen on the low ground. Does it slow down charge? It slows down anything which involves the movement of units, not Adept shades, not disruptor attacks, but the movement of units moving through it. So I imagine, yes, it would slow down charge loss. These Zerglings pressing forwards. You can see the Dark Shrine on the way up from Zest again. So he's going to try what he just did in the last game once more. Hopefully this time no Banelings hitting on his front doorstep, knocking away and knocking it down. A couple extra probes on the way out as well, of course. They're still building up towards that 45 to 46 counter at least. Which is where we see a lot of the Protoss attacks coming in from. But obviously, generally looking to go beyond that and in towards a little bit of a little bit beyond. Do the bubbles ever go away? No, they are here all game long. One of these things that's definitely been tested out. We're trying to figure out what's good about it, what's bad about it, and obviously as things as it gets figured out a bit, maybe they get used again, maybe they never get used again, maybe they get used and they change and they're killable or something like that. At the moment, they are indestructible. So yeah, it's again one of the things. We always have a section of the map contest where we test out something, a new feature on maps, and that's what we're seeing this time around. These inhibitor zones. So they're just in test, and again, I wouldn't expect these to make it to the ladder. Yeah, I wouldn't expect these to make it to the ladder, but we shall see. It's fun though, it's fun. I think that's the important thing. Like, it's fun, it's different. It's cool to see that Blizzard are happy to try things out a little bit and do some different things on the map. Even if it doesn't end up working, better to try than not try at all, Zerglings coming in on the bottom side. Lumberjack, my friend, with the 500 bits, says, great tournament today, Wardy. Hope we can see more of these new map tournaments in the future. Honestly, I was kind of tempted to, because we've got to run an event this week, the WardiTV Arena. I was kind of tempted to run the WardiTV Arena on the TLMC maps again, just because I'm having a lot of fun casting them. Maybe get rid of a couple that people don't like so much, and that I don't necessarily like as much, because it'd be my tournament then. I don't have to show all of them, right, because it's not the TLMC, but I was thinking of maybe introducing a couple. There's a couple of Archons backing away. And Ling's taking quite a bit of damage. The Archon's going to jump up into the main base. Already an Overlord taking quite a lot of damage, so Overlord will go down. And the Zerglings continue to come through, going after those Archons. There's a couple of, War Prism getting pushed away to the right-hand side. DT going to finish up. We do see these Zerglings of Rogue heading down to the bottom right. Again, some extra gates coming into play. Charge coming up. And War Prism still just about halfway done as well, as a few DTs jumping onto the Zerglings. And again, Hydras continue to come into play. Groove Spine's about halfway done. And just going to be seeing the Dark Templar just going through and picking up a few more of these Zerglings. So, again, just a few more Lings getting picked off. The charge is about to finish up here from Zest, so again, that completed nice and quickly, and there's a few extra Hydras, Overlords, etc. coming into play, those Groove Spines too. Well, Rogue is cutting at 54 workers. Now, he did this earlier today against Hero as well. He cut at 50-ish workers and went for a big Ling Hydra attack on this map. He still has +1 missiles, but he's also got to get Hydra speed before he can realistically go across the map, so it's kind of still lining up for him to do that. And even though this is a very large map, it was very effective then. However, at the moment, we see Zest about to be aggressive. Zest in the end went into the charge. We didn't really see much from the early kind of units. But now he's got these two War Prisms kind of moving around, and they're going to go in from a couple different directions. Attacking up into the left side, attacking up this side into the third base. Probably going to see these few units wanting to attack up in towards the main as well, towards the natural, but so far no luck. But it is forcing the units to stay split up. There's so many units here, I don't think Zest can fight that with only only the two Archons and the Zealots. Let's see what happens as he comes in from the right side as well. The Lings in the front. They're taking down pretty quickly. Those Archons are doing a good job. The Archons for the moment kept very safe. Actually, the Zealots are kind of breaking through. Zealots on the right side now as well. This turns into a massive concave. Oh my god, those Zealots are going to charge all the way forwards. Archons grabbing the Queen. Going to be seeing a whole bunch of extra sentries walked in actually to get a few force fields going. Drones are going to pull into this. That's when you know this isn't looking good. There's no Ravagers, and so the force field cannot be broken. Zealot's just going to charge in. The drone's trying to hold position, but it's just going to cost them their lives. And Zest with a very deadly attack is going to be able to take this down and go up 3-2 in this best of 9. Zest with a bit of a roll here, retaking that lead, and there's now just 2 maps of guys as we have to the bottom right hand side. Our red Zerg player, this is Rogue. At the top left, Pink Protoss is going to be Zest. So in a game like this where Zest knows he's going against a Zerg who loves to keep a small massive Lings, why not grab a Colossus or 2 to help with those? But I guess he should get 4 charge lots to deal with 3 or 4 Lings. It's just the fact, it's just sort of the situation where the Colossus is a very expensive unit that goes down a tech path that oftentimes isn't really used by Pros players. Because when you use it in PvZ, if you can keep it hidden and you suddenly show up with like 4 Colossus, the Zergs will just die if they're on like Lingbane Hydra. That style doesn't work against Colossus. But if you start to go Colossus, it becomes so easily countered a lot of the time. You know, if you just see it coming, you just build a hive and you build Vipers, and the Colossus just don't really do enough. And then if your Colossus go down quickly, I guess the other thing is as well, the Colossus take a while to build up compared to like a Mortal Archon, which is, as you build up more Mortal Archon, your army gets so much stronger, but it comes up so regularly and you increase a couple Archons here, a couple of Mortals there, that your army is consistently getting to those next levels of being awesome and strong. And it doesn't have any weak points, whereas Colossus, if you only have 1 or 2 for a while, which you do, it's a lot more difficult to then stay alive and to pressure the Zerg and to keep the Zerg slowed down, which is what the Immortal Archon's army is kind of force. So there's a lot of kind of in behind the scenes about it. Colossus can be very good. I mean, players like Rail, who's currently playing in WCS, is someone who loves playing Colossus in PvZ, and he will just go for them. But I think the Koreans will never go for them just because it's such a kind of off-meta style. And we just don't really have any Pros players in Korea who really play outside of the meta. But it really is just one of those things. It's too expensive to push up into. It's too risky. And if it gets scouted, it really just doesn't do that much. What's up, Jake? Eyes on the field. And also Spinbret coming in saying hello in the chat. Good to see you guys. Always happy to see new people in the chat and stuff. If it's your first time on the stream, come say hello. Let me know what's up. Good to see you guys. So you can see this Overlord coming in towards the upper side, and again, just a little bit of scouting around. Again, Twilight first from Zest. Really, at this point, it's hard to really discuss Zest's openings because we've literally talked PvZ to death today. I do apologize, guys. I mean, I know some of you are just tuning in right now, but every series today has been PvZ, and we've done at least, I think it's something like, this must be our 26th game of PvZ in a row, 26th map of PvZ in a row. So do forgive me if I don't talk so much about the openings anymore. It's kind of just at that point where I've really said above and beyond everything I have to say about this matchup. It's a bit absurd for us to get so many games with the same matchup in a row, actually. The way this worked out, I really thought we were going to get some ZvZ today, which I wouldn't have been against to mix it up a bit, but it's just been ZvP all the way through. 5 series in a row, and long series at that as well, so it's really just been Protoss versus Zerg day. Just going to be seeing a few Zerglings approaching the other side of the map. Warp Gate is going to be finishing shortly, of course, as the Dark Shrine, the extra gates. It's back towards that more typical sort of just Dark Templar kind of drop into Archon style. Rogue here is getting a couple of Overlords up, getting the Queens on the way out as well. A few more drones coming out. The depth here, but push those couple of Zerglings back. Pylons will drop down. Another gateway just finishing up in the front of this Warlock. Stalker able to pick off the Overlord. And the War Prism heading down to the bottom right-hand side of the map to see what is next. So War Prism going to go and apply a little bit of pressure here and there. Troop spread from Rogue still spreading out around the map also. War Prism sets up, warps in a few Dark Templar. And one final Dark Templar as well. And the CT is going to very quickly be able to come in and just start swiping away against those couple of Queens. So Queen's just taking a little bit of damage here early on against some extra Lings coming up. The Lair coming through. That's going to be done in a moment or so, as we are just going to be seeing those Archons about to get set up. Zerglings up to the top side, and we are just going to be seeing Rogue running around with these Lings as well. The Queen's pushing the Prism away out into the center, and that's actually a lot of damage on the War Prism, so unable to really kind of be as aggressive as he'd maybe like to be with these Archons. As the Lings running forwards once again, the Queen's still coming through, and these Archons keep lifting up and backing away towards the upper left-hand side. Rotron about to complete. And the Immortal from Zest just continuing to Chrono Boost out. So Chrono Boosting these kind of makes it feel like he is just going to sit on the 245 workers and kind of just go from there. You see these Archons. Ooh, Cord going to recall them. Ooh, this is one. Obviously, he couldn't get the Prism in because I think there's too many Queens, and I think he would have probably lost the Prism trying to save them. That was actually a very responsible decision from Zest, choosing to recall one Archon alive rather than trying to save both with the Prism. And you have to decide that right then and there as well. Because if you don't decide it right then and there, the recall comes in too late, you lose both Archons, right? And then you've wasted the attempt of a recall, so... Zest again takes this forward base, and I can't help but think that this is the only reason he does this, because this base is the way safer base to take. He did this against Solar earlier as well, and I just can't help but feel it's because he either wants a 4th base easier later, or because he really just wants to play aggressively and push forwards, and then falling back to this base is a lot easier for him, and it gives him a more forward pylon to maybe reinforce with or so. Maybe something along those lines, as that's a big lag spite. Oopsie daisy. Yikes, that was a big freeze up, but looks as though we came out of it alive. Oh, good. Again, a connection to Korea has actually been a lot better lately. It's been a little bit shaky here and there today, but overall, nowhere near as bad as it was a month or so ago. We still get those larger lag spikes every now and then, as we do see Zealots, Mortals, Archons setting up and passing through the center of the map. Going to be seeing a Zerglin going down there in the middle as well. And we do see this push forward. Zest looking to try and go in towards the bottom right corner of this now. Going to see these, this Overlord going and taken down, so Overlord falls. Going to see a Zerglin getting picked off too. A couple of spores burrowing up. Ravagers dropping barrels on the ramp, just kind of scares Zest away from pushing forwards and up here. And Zest's going to add 2 more Robo facilities. Wow. Well, it is going to be a Lurker Den from Rogue, so I mean, Immortals are kind of the answer. And obviously Obsessed with this much presence on the map is able to take down the creep spread, and Rogue is just hiding up the ramp on his free bases. So Rogue just going to hide away up here. You saw Solar earlier ended up mining out these minerals to open the pathway towards this 4th base. Definitely seems like the safer 4th base to take than trying to expand out the front. Zest backs away. Obviously no reason for him to go attacking up a ramp. He knows that's never going to work out well for him. So just going to see the Warp Prism down to the bottom. A couple of Immortals in this Prism as well. Dodges away from those Corrosive Bowers. That was quite nicely done as he loads back up. And we're just going to be seeing again a couple of Immortals firing away, getting a little bit more damage done. A couple of Lings leading the charge from Rogue out into the center of the map. 3 more Immortals coming into play here. Spire coming up, the +1 missile attack coming up as well. All of this getting set to go. +1 attack on the Forge. I'm just going to be seeing this Warp Prism from Zest running away up the right-hand side. Lings, Roaches, and Ravagers showing up and getting a couple, taking a couple shots from that Prism. The extra Lurker still on the way out. The +1 missile attack upgrade from Rogue as well. Starting up right now is about halfway done. And the Spire here from Rogue also going to be done in just the next couple of moments. Warp Prism with Zest back around the right-hand side, and well, Rogue is going to be maxed out. The Lurkers are coming through, and the Spire is going to be here in a moment or so as well. That is obviously going to bring some options in. Doesn't have too much gas though, so can't immediately kind of go into a meter switch. So if you see something from that Spire, it's more likely to be after a larger fight, as we do see those Lurkers pushing in. I mean, that Immortal count rising up 3 at a time though is pretty crazy. The triple Robo is something you never really see. I mean, double Robo at max usually. Triple Robo maybe like much later in the game, like when it's to the point where you have so much economy, you want to really make sure you've got enough to be able to clean up. Archon's morphing in on the far right side, as we do see Zell on the front being picked away by Roaches. Minions pressing forwards here. Roaches getting chased away, and Lurkers will end up burrowing. Splitting up this army. Going to see some good force fields down to... well, actually, the Roaches were able to get away in a little bit of a gap there. The Archons on the right side want to come in too, really sandwich in those Lurkers. Where's the detection? Observer is in the army, so there is an Observer right here. In fact, both the Observers are right here. God, they're really hard to spot sometimes. I really have trouble doing it. There's another one up there. Okay, here he goes. Also on the top side as well, so he's going to flank in. And that's why this forward 4th base is a little bit of a complication. Prism brings the Immortals to the top side too, as Zest completely commits into the Lurkers with the surround, but is it enough? The last few Immortals still trying to fight their way through this here. 30 Roaches on the reproduction. I think it might be. As Zest will be able to warp in a huge round of units right now. Oh, there's Lurkers still left. Oh, the Spores got rid of the Observers. Oh, man, those last few Lurkers then obviously making a big difference. Well, extra's all swarming in as we obviously see our Throws player wants to keep fighting here, making another observer. That's obviously going to take a while to build, then come across the map. Oh my god. Well, now these roaches are in pretty crazy numbers too, and the Immortals on the left side are not in a position to help fight this at all. Now we're going to have to see Zest with some of that crazy Warp Prism micro we know he can do. He loses the Archons and will just keep the Immortals alive. He's got so much money as well, Zest. I mean, I really think if he had the Observer, he cleans out those Lurkers, and his follow-up fight is so much better. These Immortals were so late to run away, and now they're in trouble. No Warp Prism to help them out here. Being chased by Lurkers, I mean, the Lurkers will go down. That's a loss. So these Immortals actually will get out of there while killing the Lurker. They actually did better than they thought they would. Well, Zest does take that backwards, fourth base now. Extra gateways coming down. This was one hell of a fight as these extra gates again dropping into place here. Zards and Immortals hanging out on the front, and here you go, Roaches, Lurkers, and Hydras pressing forwards. The Immortals starting to pull backwards. Zergling's running over to try and help deal with this. And this army just pushing straight down in towards the center of all of these units. The Immortals taking a whole bunch of damage. Zelt will charge in from the left-hand side. Is it enough? Zest has the Prism to micro with. He is fighting a 60 army supply lead, though. How much can micro really save him in this? Probably not enough, right? Surely not. The Observer flies into the Hydras. It goes down, so now you can't deal with the Lurkers any longer. And Rogue's going to tie this up 3-3, isn't he? And we're going the real distance in this best of 9. 3-3 guaranteed at least 8 maps. As the games are pretty fantastic as well. Back and forth, crazy fights, great micro, great control. I love the idea Zest had in that last game, but it just wasn't enough. And losing the Observers is really the knife through the heart for him. As the top left, our red Zerg is Rogue. Tying this up once again, it's to the bottom right, our pink Protoss is Zest. Thank you so much, Dastrix, coming in for the Twitch Prime sub during the break there. Thank you so much. If you guys do have a Twitch Prime available, don't think about, check it out. Maybe consider using it. Do appreciate all support as we're approaching 8,000 viewers. Oh my gosh. This is ridiculous. What's going on? This is insane. Damn. Damn. Alright, well, as we set up into this, guys, Game 7 of this best of 9, we see a drone to the top side. Going to drop down this hatchery. So hatchery going to come in, be placed here pretty much right away. Overlord from Rogue coming across. Again, we've seen this opener from Rogue many a time here in this series. So no real shocker right there. Nothing too crazy just yet. As we get this truly underway. Again, the winner of this will see themselves on match point. Honestly, you've seen this third hatch come up so many times and so many different builds come off of it. True did the super fast third hatch yesterday and went for a Nidasaur in, for example, so I wouldn't be fooled by this third base being a guaranteed, a guaranteed anything here, honestly. Again, Black Baroque is this map that we're on right now. After this, we're going to be seeing, guaranteed we'll see Heatwave, and if it goes to a final game, we'll see Triton. Our final maps for this map contest tournament. Things on the way up. Enough drones though that this isn't going to be some sort of a link flood or anything along those lines, so it's not hyper aggressive out of Rogue right from the start here. As the Queen going to press through just a little bit more creep spread, so a little bit more creep coming forwards at the moment. There's a few Zerglings coming in then, so Rogue heading down to the bottom side of the map. Looking to see what he can get done as the Robo facility starts up in the main base. The Oracle is about to complete. A couple of gateways coming down as well. So all of this getting set to go. As we have got those Zerglings spreading out in a few different directions from Rogue. So Rogue going a few different directions at the moment. Just going to be seeing those extra drones finishing up. The Robo facility is about halfway done. All of this getting rolling here. As we have those extra couple of gates going to be finishing up as well. Oracle hanging out. The Stalker is going to take a couple of shots from those Zerglings as well. Oracle coming back into the natural expansion. And the Stalker able to chase that Overlord away through the bottom side. So Overlord doesn't get taken down or anything. Is just going to sit out over to the side now. And, well, we've seen the extra gateways building up here as well. So 5 gates, and this is super aggressive from Zest. He took this gas, he cancels the second one. He took this gas, so he's actually got a little bit of gas involved because he wants to warp in the sentries. It's going to be like sentries, and it's just going to be a pure like 8 gateway all in. I mean, how often do you see like a pure 8 gate all in? Like 2019. No tech behind it. Obviously, he's going to build an observer, but like the thing is, it's so hard for Rogue to spot this and to identify this, because even if he sees the warp prism, it's like, oh, you got a warp prism. Well, I've seen this 1,000 times today, right? Like, I know what a warp prism does, but do you expect 8 gateways with it? Well, not really. Now I'm going to see these units warping in, and now this push forwards, obviously, if it gets seen again. Now Rogue has more of an idea. Now he's figured it out. He's got the spine crawlers on the way up. Oh, man. Rogue's so good. He's got spine crawlers building. In his mineral lines, though, I think he expects it to be adepts. Well, it's not adepts at all. Those spines are in bad positions, unless he's going to build them there and then bring them down. But this one up in the main is way out of location. Extra sentries warping in as Zest going to complete fully to this attack in the next few moments. So here we go. A few extra zealots finishing up. And this is it. Zerglings and Roaches being made. Spores in the front going to try and buy some, take some damage away from the army. Stop the Warp Prism and the Oracle having, a free time here. First Force Fields kind of blocking units in. Oracle is able to fight the Zerglings, so they engage straight onto the army, so they're not it's not in risk of reaching the Spore Crawlers here. Warp Prism has to be careful, because if it wants to warp in again, it'll have to move away from those Queens. Oh, he's going to get the warp in, but he should lose the Warp Prism. That one Queen that's left. No way, he saves it. One hit from death. Oh, man, that's absolutely huge here. The Warp Prism is such an important part of this attack, obviously. The micro provides the reinforcements, obviously, is the main thing. That's going to warp in a little bit more here. Spines are pushing forward. He kills an Overlord. The closer he brings Rogue to a supply block, the more painful that can be. But with the Spines up at the front, can Zest fight this? Well, he can get rid of a couple of Spines maybe while kind of kiting away. Obviously, Rogue just kiting back and forth, not letting his units run too far forwards. Now supply block waiting on an Overlord. Zest will start up a Forge as he drops a few Stalkers up into the main base here. Looks like he's done, though. Looks like he's happy with the pressure he's applied, and just going to try and get this Overlord and be done with it, and just going to supply Rogue a little bit further. Rogue back in, Zest back in away, though. Takes another gas, has no real tech set up at the moment, just going into that Forge, and expands again into the forward third base. Zest is really loving these third bases and these forward positions. It's almost like he thinks he's a Terran player. Because that is what Terrans would do against Surge, expand towards the opponent, so it's easier to kind of rally into them all of the time. Well, this is an interesting one, because Rogue didn't exactly get halted on economy, right? If we look at the income graph here, you can see Rogue's actually had a pretty good income lead, because Zest cut workers much earlier than usual. Army graph's been pretty evened out. Those Spines were the save day. Went for the forward third because the other third's blocked. You see, I would not disagree with that if he hadn't done this in every other game. And every other game, his other base hasn't been blocked. So I want to believe that it's definitely just a thing he keeps doing. Like, he has an army, he has Stalkers. It's not like he can't clean up this Overlord, right? That's what I'm thinking. Like, he just keeps doing this. He's done this multiple times today on multiple different maps, taking the forward third base option rather than the one that's just a little bit linear. So, I mean, Meth definitely could have added into it, but it definitely seems like just a style that he wants to keep going for here. So we're going to be seeing a row of Zealots warping in at the front of the third Nexus. So, row of Zealots right there as we see Roaches and Ravages through the center, though. So this is Rogue's counterattack. He's supply blocked again. And Zest does now clean out that Overlord in the bottom left-hand side. Does give Rogue a chance to get in position. He obviously charge isn't done yet because, well, the Twilight Council was super late. +1 is moments away from finishing as well, so Zest won't have that on his side either just yet. Warp Prism might run around. There is 2 Immortals. Those 2 Immortals start to deal some good damage at least. The Stalker's coming back quite nicely. These Immortals need to be kept alive, obviously. Good micro so far. Doing a great amount here with these Immortals, actually. Stalker's warping in. The rest of the army coming in to fight this as well, as the army starts to take a push across to the right-hand side. Oh my god, I thought that Immortal was dead, but nope, kept alive again. An extra Stalker still coming through. Zest control throughout this entire tournament has been absolutely impeccable, and this is another amazing example of this right here. Zest, what a defense. Absolutely pristine. Keeps the Immortals alive, comes in with the army from the left side at the right time. Warps in on the right, knowing he needed some help with the Warp Prism and the Immortals. What a defense by Zest. And now he's got charge. Now he's set up into a more standard setup. And Rogue committed quite hard into that. Rogue's only on 56 drones. Still a little bit of an eco advantage, but not too much of one. Definitely manageable for Zest, who's trading so much better than Rogue so far in this game. Here we go. A couple of Zealots getting rid of some Zerglings here in the forward positions. Extra High Templar and Zealots warping in as these units push in towards the top left-hand side of the map. 2 more Ravagers morphing as we see the Queen coming up at the front. Group spread pressing forwards at the moment. And here we go. Zest ready to fight on through here. Zerglings pressing forward. Stalker's taking some more damage though. Has to save a couple of those in the Warp Prism. And looks like Zest won't be able to do too much more as the Lurker Den is on the way up. So Lurker Den coming through, and it's time for Zest to probably think about dealing with that. Maybe even a second Robo Facility. In fact, I think a second Robo Facility is almost essential here to get enough Immortals up to fight. Well, Zest has survived, but he definitely hasn't won the game. I think Rogue still has a good spot here as he builds up his work account a little bit further, keeping that income lead a little bit. You can see that his army supply is still just above Zest's. The resources lost still in Zest's favor though. It's going to be seeing the Lings, the Roaches, and the Ravagers all gathering up over to the right side. The 4th base here from Rogue. I mean, that's the thing. If you take a 3rd here, you take the 4th there very naturally, right? But Zest doesn't want the... You know, he doesn't care about those back bases. He wants the forward base. He wants the action. He wants to get down to it. Storm on the way. I mean, Storm is obviously a big helping hand here overall. The Immortals going to drop down from the Warp Prism. Looks like they were maybe trying to harass around and took some damage. We missed that on the screen. Apologies. But otherwise, Zest looking pretty good still. Again, those Roaches, those Ravagers, and Lurkers. All of this from Rogue moving around nicely. Doing a very good job at the moment as we see Zest moving back down to the bottom. High Templar just finishing warping in. And again, Lings, Roaches, Ravagers, and Lurkers pressing forwards here. As you can see those Zealots pressing through. A couple of Zerglings getting picked off. High Templars obviously waiting for that Storm, and there it is, the first one on top of the Ravagers. Not a lot of Immortals to fight against the Lurkers though. Another good Storm though, and actually Rogue kind of runs through this. On the other side of the map, Immortals are over here killing Queens and Drones. Zest just kind of has to hold on this side. He's pulling away so he doesn't have to fight into the Lurkers. His High Templars are gone. Out of energy, they get engaged into by the Roach Ravager. Some Lurkers going to unburrow and reposition. These Immortals finally starting to drop down here. So the Immortals are killed. Zest will go for the dive on top of the rest of the army, but I don't think he has enough. I think the Lurkers are too much. Despite the damage dealt elsewhere, this is going to be Rogue picking up game number 7 and retaking the lead in the series for the first time since I think game 1. Rogue's for the gifted subscription. Much appreciated. Leading the series for the first time since game number 1. This is our Red Zerg player, Jinair Green Rings Rogue. And to the top left, our pink Protoss is Zest. Why did I run this at the same time as WCS? Because Blizzard/Team Liquid give me the dates for the tournament, and I have to make them work. They say we want the tournament to run this week, and I run it this week. I don't have much of a choice. So, yeah. Trust me, I always try to avoid casting over WCS. It's usually not worthwhile. It is today. We've got Twitch front page, but usually it's not worthwhile, and clashing StarCraft's never fun, but we really just don't have a... we really just don't have a choice. We really just don't have a choice. We get given the dates to run this tournament on. We run the tournament on those dates. And that's about it. Obviously, I mean, the fact that WCS has been on so much recently kind of meant that there just wasn't a better week to run it in. I couldn't run it next week because we would have led into IEM Katowice and people would have been traveling at the weekend. So we wouldn't have been able to run the playoffs. And we are on a time frame as well because we need to stick in, you know, it's not just this tournament. This is a part of the Team Liquid map contest, right? And because it's part of the map contest, we have to really sort of sit back and say, okay, well, you know, here we are. The map contest is here, and, you know, we've got to make sure that it fits in with when when that's meant to be run. So sign up into this, guys, and getting this ready to go. Queen on the way up on the natural expansion. You can see that Nexus getting ready to go. Sorry, newbie, says Mango 2018. What is WCS? WCS is the World Championship Series. It's our main circuit. It's our main circuit and competition for the StarCraft 2. that leads into BlizzCon at the end of the year. So WCS is for the non-Korean players, and then in Korea they have the GSL. So right now the World Championship Series is going on with the World Championship Series Winter. It's a bit of a longer format event that runs over multiple weeks, so it's one of the group stages today. So it's a little bit of a shame that we clash with it, but alas, there's nothing we can do other than just to deal with it. Alright, getting this going, and just going to be seeing the probe heading in towards the upper left side, having had scouted around. The Adept over here now from Zest scouting into the main base of Rogue, but not really going to commit. And that Stalker just getting a few initial shots off on the Overlord. Robo first. Twilight into Robo first here from Zest. So again, just is kind of done with Stargate play, it seems. And we do see the charge starting on up. So again, that charge shot drop is something we've seen Zest do a few times now. As you see, the Adept is just coming up in towards the center of the map. So Adept back up through the middle. Queen pushing some creep out in towards the center as well. We see the Ling running around to the right-hand side. Going to take this watchtower here on Heatwave. Actually, pretty interesting watchtower covering this entire kind of high ground pathway. So it's just the middle path that isn't actually visible. And I guess then you can kind of come through the middle and like jump up here. And they're kind of nice watchtowers. They're not overly kind of like necessary, otherwise like you just don't see major attacks coming, and they're not overly like, oh, my opponent has the watchtower, I can't attack. But they're kind of like still pretty useful for shutting down and keeping info on certain attack paths, and especially drop paths, because now it really forces units to go all the way up and around the sides if you want to drop around as a Terran player or as a Warp Prism, for example. And that's obviously what Rogue is hoping to spot right now. Nice Warp Prism play. And Zest keeps it out of range of the tower, because he is going to go through the center with Warp Prism number 1 at least. Warp Prism 2 coming up, and there's the Dark Shrine as a follow-up as well. So Dark Shrine coming up. And obviously the DTs will warp in and get some Archons going along with these Zealots. Another Zealot warp in for now, though. We've seen Zest do this a few times, so we're kind of getting the gist as to how he likes to set this up. So extra Zealots warping in and pressing straight down into the walls. I mean, going to get the Spore Crawler. Gives a little bit more micro build to the Warp Prism. Won't take as many hits here. The Koreans will have to target it down as well, rather than the Spore. Obviously can't hit Zealots, so it does just naturally hit the Warp Prism. So a few Zealots of the Prism hanging out to the left side. The DT's warping in the main base to begin with here. Oh my god, there's no Overseer. There's no detection in the main base, so DT's running straight in. There's an Overseer morphing in, but there's going to be a bunch of drones going down. At the same time, Zealots on this side are going to win out on the fight. Charging into a Queen now. I mean, finally the Overseer shows up. The DTs can just lift up and get out of there. 9 drones killed, and Zest is creating an insane amount of damage so far. So Zest doing a very good job of this, as now these Zealots pulling back over to the left, this Prism with DTs back over to the right, and suddenly a quick 1-2 punch, the double Prism play, and Zest puts himself in a lead. So Zest taking the lead here in game number 8, and if this keeps up, we might get a game number 9. This couldn't be any more different to our last TLMC finals, where we had a 5-0 stomp in the finals of U-Thermal against a laser. This, honestly, at this point, could not be any different. 4 Archons morphing on the right side. Roaches are going to go across the map, so Rogue is going to say, right, let's just counterattack. I'm not messing around here. Now all of these Archons load up and go into the main. He'll probably have to recall these home, though, because otherwise he's not going to have enough damage output at home to survive these Roaches. In fact, he's got nothing at home, so there's still some potential here for Rogue. He's losing his third base. He's got an unbearable amount of Archons in the main. There is some possibility, because he's straight through into the natural, but DT warps in. Where's the Overseer? It's coming, just very slowly. DT defense is obviously a pretty good choice, as this has turned into a bit of a base trade. Roaches are going to start fighting against those probes as they run away. The DT now goes down. 8 workers killed on each side so far. I mean, again, the reinforcements here from Rogue are just never going to clean up those Archons. I mean, they're going to try and fight what they can, killing off some of these Zealots into the main, going to get rid of the Dark Robo facility, and power some of these gates as well. There's only, I mean, that's the end of the production if these gateways go down. And we're in full-on base trade mode to wrap up this series, perhaps. Archon's going to go after these drones. There's only 12 drones remain, but obviously the probes that are left aren't mining much either. 800 minerals though, so Zest can build bases around the map. That's something Rogue cannot afford to do. And so Rogue might have to come back home and defend, as these probes are actually going to help with the fight. Ah man, this is rough for Rogue, I think, in the end though, because eventually he has to come back and defend his bases. Otherwise he's going to lose too much. And Zest will be able to take himself another Nexus with the probes that he's brought across the map, because he has the money available. Roaches and Lings picking off a pylon here. This Nexus taking damage too. And he's going to go back up into the main. These Archons about to kill that hatchery, so there's only really the lair left. The Structures tab looking rather barren here for Rogue. Does he have a single extractor? He doesn't. As we're going to see, Rogue is just going to jump on this pylon. He just can't kill things fast enough. I mean, he's got these two extractors, the Roadtroran. He does not have enough to do anything with. Like, he does not win this base trade. Like, unless Zest somehow forgets to attack structures in the next few moments. Even then, I'm not sure. I'm convinced. Zest wants to, I think, power these gateways, but he's supply blocked, so he can't actually warp in still. The idea is nice, but it's not going to work. Rogue has an extractor and a spawning pool remaining. I mean, Zest, again, can just build whatever he wants to. He builds a pylon back over here, and that's the game. Rogue knows it. GG. We're going to a game number 9. 29th map of PvZ that I've casted today. Now, that's crazy. 29 maps of the same matchup is actually pretty bonkers, right? That's pretty ridiculous. That's like halfway through to... That's almost halfway to a best of 69. Wow. Alright, guys. I'm going to kick off into this. Our grand final. Final map here on Triton. It is our red Zerg in the bottom right-hand side. He's had his lead taken away from him just for a moment. It is Jinair Green Rings Rogue. Up against the pink Protoss. Top left. Will he be the best? He is Zest. Ace match hype. Can we give some love and some hype in the chat just for the hype of today? Has been sick. I think our front page time has unfortunately just ended in our final game of the day. Alas, it was not going to last forever, but it was really incredible that we actually stretched this out to 6 hours to make full use of the front page time. And hopefully you guys still going to stick around to watch this final game, because this is crazy. And as we do go into the 3 bases from Rogue. Zest just getting that Nexus set up here as well. Shouts to these guys, by the way. Been playing a long time today already. Zest's been playing at least 5 hours now, because he was our second series and he played against Solar. He's had a lot of time to play as Pros versus Zerg builds as well, hasn't he? Well, Twilight Council coming up, and oh, Rogue. He's going to Bane Bust, the final game of the tournament. Rogue, you know, you could have kept it hype, man. I guess it's going to be exciting, though. Let's see if Zest can hold on. He's died to this once today. It's a pretty wide ramp up into the natural. Let's see what happens as we do see the Queen, the Lings, getting set to go. Lings just coming down to the low ground, and we are going to be seeing them pushing up across the map. I mean, there's just nothing to scout here, even from Zest. He doesn't probe scout this game. Oh my gosh. Goes down that pylon. Stalker in the wall, but the pylon is obviously a weak point. Rubber facility about to finish. Charge on the way up. That's not going to help, but the sentry might. Obviously, Lings still have to morph into Banes here. And the other Lings running across. Sentry going to be here in a moment or two. This pylon will keep these gates powered as well, even when this pylon goes down. And he has 2 more gates in the main base to utilize. Okay, here he goes. So Zerg starting to run up the ramp. Adept will shade forwards. And will not see anything yet. Bane's kept away from the Adept shade. The Adept shade has very small amounts of vision, so you're not able to see anything here. Warp Prism will be in play as the Bane Burst comes in. There'll be Banes left over, but the Force Field is good to begin with. The Force Field buys some time, an extra sentry warped in, and now these Banes are dropping down. Next Force Field any second here to keep those Banes away. Perfectly placed. Zest is holding on, but the Cybercore taking some damage now as well. The Southern Sentry has another Force Field available already, so you can Force Field here. And if there isn't enough Banes, oh, Banes do connect on the Sentry, so no more Force Fields from those guys. A couple of Zealots warping in though, and this is a hold from Zest. And Rogue has not made this work. Cybercore gets replaced in the wall. Another few Banes morphing in. Sentries still available and about to have another Force Field here in a second. And it looks like Zest is holding on here to this game number 9 in our grand finals. Ling's rushing up that ramp. Bane's running forwards. Force field a little late, but actually, in a way, soaked up the Bane shots and then kind of just force fielded the rest out. And Rogue is in trouble as the warp prism goes across the map, and Rogue has no units here. The Zealots are hunting down drones, and Rogue, an all-out attack now to try and end this and cross the map. He's trying to break through that building gateway and everything else. The drones on the low ground in the natural of Rogue are taking a beating. The Zealots will lift up and get out of that surround. The Zealots, the Lings do break through over here on the natural expansion. There's a couple of Lings going down though. The Bane Bus worked the first time in this series, but not the second time around. And that is going to be Rogue asking something. As Zest is going to take this grand final, and I think Rogue knows it right here. As these guys going to be coming through. What were you doing? All in, he asks, and Zest says nope. He was doing his charge drop build, wasn't he? GG is called. Zest takes it 5-4 in the grand finals. So yeah, he was just asking what the build was.